Great.
Is there anybody with us on Zoom?
There is not. Everybody here in the meeting.
Good. Okay, so we just talked about the pool, so everybody knows about the pool. The current agenda for today is you have somebody coming in?
Yes, and Megan James will come in and talk about the upgrade to the website. Should be here. She should be here. I think I might have given her 2 different times. Could be either 9:15 or 9:30, but she'll be.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our president is out in the West Coast for our graduation for her granddaughter. So Tana called and said, say hello to everybody, and I will be back. I said, okay. So could we have acceptance of the meetings from last month, please? Yep.
Second.
All set? Okay. And how about a treasurer's report?
All right.
Yeah.
Good morning. So our May general expenses of $25,274 are in line with our typical $25,000 a month. The balance remaining in the general fund is $44,778, more than sufficient to cover the last month of the year, June. We're 11 months in as of this reporting date. So we have 1 month to go. We will have enough, clearly. June should come in probably around 36 for the month because of the 3 payrolls in the month of June. And the largest unexpended balance that's sitting in our line items is van driver expense, which we've been talking about for a couple of years now. Under the second column, grants, ARPA, and formula. Reminder, it includes both of those grants. The revenues in there represent the ARPA grant that was received last October, or was booked last October. We don't have the formula grant yet recorded in the accounts as of May 31, but I suspect it's coming since.
And I'll
The
have to double check that
20,000.
because I thought that I checked it back in March and it was received. So we'll have to just,
Yeah,
you can help me because I did look for it and I know that the town received it. I just don't know why it's not.
Yeah, it just hasn't been posted.
I'll contact Dawn. I'll find out what's going on with that.
Okay, it's been approved. We're expecting it. It's $20,256, I believe. So we do show in that column a loss of $6,666. So it'll all be covered, of course, with the formula grant. On expenses during May, we did have, how'd it go? May expense was, the total was $2,752, which included ARPA of about $1,500 and formula grant of $1,200. ARPA, as a reminder, is all food related, and the total of those $16,666 expenses representing food is $5,549, and the remaining $11,119 represents expenditures for the formula grant, which is primarily Nettie's payroll for our certification. Under revolving fund, we're showing a loss of $6,925 year to date as of the end of May, and a balance in the revolving fund of $16,421. The loss did decrease $388 during the month of May. Gift accounts, total gift accounts is $60,127, of which $34,953 is unrestricted. We received $5,270 and spent $1,350 during the month of May, and that was primarily related to the social worker. Any
Thank you.
comments, questions?
Sounds good.
Can we accept?
Can we accept the minutes, please?
A question, when everything's posted, where are we as far as the year? Are we gonna have excess?
Yes, we have 44,007, see that first column? I don't know what you're looking at. 44,778. That is our town appropriation account. Of that total amount, we'll spend about probably 35,000 of that 45,000 remaining now. So we will end up with an excess, I suspect, of about 10,000 at the end of
And
June.
what does the town do with the excess?
That goes back into the general
Yeah.
fund.
Can we spend that somehow?
That's a little tricky. I think in years past, that was the goal, was to spend it down, but we've spoken with the Don, who is the CFO, and he has suggested if we do not try to spend it down just for the sake of spending it. So if we needed something, we certainly could. But he does not want us to spend it just for the sake of spending. He says we're going to get it back, the same amount. It's already been budgeted for next year. The budget's already in there, so they're not taking anything away from us if we don't spend it. So it's a
So it
conversation
goes
that-
into the next year? So that 10,000 is available to us, say, in September?
It's not an extra 10,000, it's just, it goes, it
Wait a
starts
minute, it
fresh
Goes
as
into
of
the
the same.
general
Right.
town
July
fund.
1st starts fresh, a whole new budget
With
Uh,
the same.
Okay,
with the same
but,
levels.
but if there's something that we wanted, then that would equal close to $10,000 or say $5,000? Do we have to go through the whole process of requesting it again in order to get it out of the general
I
fund?
think it's gone.
It's gone.
Once we do that, it's gone.
Then-
So what do we got? What can we spend it on?
So why wouldn't we spend it?
Well, some of it is though, is van drivers.
van driver.
Well, I can't, it's, buy a tent with van driver money.
Right.
So it depends on where it's coming from too, where we're going to be, like I'm trying very hard to get it all the way down. So we've got like programming pretty much down to zero. The line item has always been spent. We have, it's really just staff, I guess it's a little bit extra is, Liza gets paid for 32 hours a week and she's in for 35. So I have a little extra money there. The van drivers, we don't never exhaust all of their money. So there's a little extra. But it's, in my mind, I can't take that extra money and buy something for programming. You know what I mean? So we do exhaust the line items that we have, like for programming, for congregate meals, we do. We go all the way down. We use everything that they give
Okay,
us.
all right.
It's just the extras really coming from stuff we can't change. And until next year, hopefully we're going to get more. We're going to get the more use out of the van drivers. Now that things are opening up, we'll get trips started more. So those are the kind of things that we will start. But it does start at the full amount. It's not like we have an extra 10,000, but we start where we started last year and we just spend down from there for the rest of the year.
Now, the van drivers, what's the issue there?
No issue, we just have more money than we spend.
We always
Probably
have
Probably
for
with the COVID
years.
stuff and
With
everything.
COVID, we haven't, right, that was the year before, we didn't hardly spend any. We just, at one point, we had a few, one down, we were down a van driver and then we just got a new van driver last year. So we are working our way. We're spending as much as we need right now. We're just gonna have to get the vans on the road, hopefully with the new wheelchair accessible van that we get. We'll be doing more rides for wheelchairs, that kind of thing, so.
Well, is it a situation where we'd spend it down? In other words, would we spend more next year than we're allotted?
We won't spend more than
No.
we're allotted, but,
Our-
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you go.
I was just gonna say, we won't spend more than we're allotted, but we're going to reassess and see where we are midstream next year, and then we'll ask for more for the next budget. So if it looks like we're going to go right down to the wire with the van drivers, where before we hadn't, then we'll just say in the budget, we need more money for van drivers, and here's why, and we should be able to get more money for it. So as long as we can prove that we need more money for it, they're going to give it to us. Right now, I just don't want them to take it away.
And because of that pattern of having an excess van driver line item, expense item, next year, fiscal year, our budget was decreased on that line item by $5,000.
I mean, that's the way it goes.
It's the way it goes.
So to
Exactly.
give them 10 grand back, it
But
seems.
I know, but think in terms of over 90% of our budget is salary related. We have two groups. We have personnel costs, which is salary, which includes van driver. And then we have these other expenses, which are administrative type expenses, program type expenses. So that salary grouping of accounts are pretty much, they are set.
Yeah.
We don't really have discretion on how that gets set. That's set by town hall. Is that accurate? Fair
It's
statement.
set by town hall with our guidance.
Yes.
For sure, so,
But not like the other, 10% of the items we have more control
Well, I mean, it's just been my experience, if you don't spend all your allotted, they take it away
Exactly.
next year.
Right.
And you don't think that's an issue?
Are they accounting for gas? Like, have you
Gas
been
is a
able to
separate
do-
line.
Separate line, we have money for gas.
I know that may come into being.
And that may
I mean,
change,
that
and we
would-
may have to take it out of the, some of the van driver, money if we don't have enough in our gas allotment, but I think we do. I think I can check. We're good on the gas right now. So, but I do understand what you're saying, and that's my biggest fear. If I don't spend it, they're going to take it away. But I do believe that the town wants us to succeed. So I think if we can prove to them that even though that's why we kind of said, Elaine and I talked to him and said, we can give the $5,000 back because he was seeing that we weren't spending that much money on the van drivers as much as he had allotted. This is done. Piat, and he assured us that if we need it again, if we start taking more rides, and which we anticipate, we can get that money back if we can prove that we need it. So
Yeah.
I do feel confident that the town is not going to try to take away money and never give it back if we need it.
And they gave us that in other places. We did not lose 5 total. We actually gained total.
We added it in the newsletter. So
Yeah.
we just moved money around. We didn't
Right.
really lose it.
And probably if they see that you're being straightforward about it and not like, oh, yeah, just spend this on stupid stuff.
Right, that's what,
Right,
Then
we're hoping.
it's a give and take.
right.
We now have Paul Curious joining us via audio, just to let you know.
Hi, Paul.
Morning, Paul.
Morning, Paul.
We'll see.
There he is.
There he is. Morning, Paul. So any other questions? And can we accept the,
So moved.
seconded, all in favor? Aye. All right. I think, if you don't mind, I'll see if Karen has anything she'd like to
Sure.
put in today.
Who is the police liaison for the seniors now?
I
It was, I thought it was Jeff, but he hasn't come to visit us and we're feeling left out of his purview.
Yeah, we haven't seen anybody
Yeah.
from fire or police.
No, we had fire last
Chief
month.
Oh, did we?
Oh, yeah, we had, Chief John Dockway.
Oh, okay.
And I know that Jeff is now on nights, and so that's why he's not been coming around. So they're really, as far as I know, they haven't assigned anyone for we do have a police cookout. Richie, do you recall the officer's name who's kind of in charge of that?
I do not. There's several of them because they're the pit masters. So they'll be coming on Thursday.
Speaking with though, as the contact person, but I can certainly talk to the chief and tell him that we need somebody on for cafe and would like somebody
just
to
to
just stop
say-
in.
I think that they would feel, they like to talk with him. And also wanting to know, is there anything that we can do? Is there anything that we can do? I know at one point we were talking to Jeff at least about senior driving, which is always an issue when driving is a dangerous exercise for seniors. And as opposed to they're just getting their license taken away, is there something that we can do to talk with a family, for instance?
So to have like a presentation and like through AAA
Just-
that could come out and
Well,
talk
just,
about
yeah,
that?
just something, because that is the senior's biggest fear
Mhm.
of when their license is taken away. And we're giving them an opportunity here for them to drive to a safe place, and we're just wanting to make sure that they're safely driving to get here. And maybe, and I know I've had conversations with them, several have said if their license were ever taken away, might as well just shoot me now. And it's really, that is a cloud over their heads, I think.
It is, and I think it is something that when they reach a certain age, I'm sure they just think there'll be no possibility of anything else happening,
Right.
instead of sort of being made aware of the fact that, gee, you can call the senior center and say you don't have a ride, but you do want to get out. Or,
Oh, I'm only saying this because there was a senior that a policeman showed up to her door because of her erratic driving on 3A. And that kind of threw her for a loop. So, but everybody around her knows she's an erratic driver. I just think when a policeman shows up, it's frightening.
Yeah, it is.
I recently, Jeff and I both took the AARP course online for senior drivers. And it was very well done. It's 4 hours.
Oh, gee, that's-
Wow.
And it talks a lot about this, about, what your alternatives are if you can't drive anymore. And how to find out what they are, because I didn't think there were a lot here in Cohasset, but at least we know the senior center is available. It also had a lot of information about modifications to cars, not really unusual modifications, but I just bought a new car because of taking that course, because I had a 2013 car, it didn't have a backup mirror, and my new car has a backup camera, and it has side warnings, and it has automatic braking. And
That's a lot, that's a lot of stuff even there.
yeah, and that's a big help, and I just was thinking, well, I don't really need that, but no, that's a long time to take a course. We also, the senior center many years ago, offered a course, I think was through AAA.
I think it was too.
Yeah,
I
we
took
we
that.
have a CD, and people could come and the CD goes through everything and as far as reaction time and questions on that, so you can kind of self-assess.
Mhm.
And if you failed at self-assessment, you can talk to your doctor or they refer you to somebody else. So I know that was a few years ago and we put the word out and people could take that and do it at home or they could do it here. But we can always revisit
It might
that
be
for
good,
sure.
to encourage something like that.
I wonder, is the,
I'm also mentioning, I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, is the AARP thing online? Is that
It's
something?
online, but it was only $15, it was not, it was pretty easy to figure it out,
Yeah,
but somebody has to have a computer or be computer literate to take it.
yeah. I wonder if that's something we could offer either through AAA or through the
Right.
And
AARP.
you get a discount on your insurance when you're taking it.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, good.
And one of the, and just to tie into the vans, as the senior center, as you know, for some people will feel, well, I'm not going to a senior center, I'm not old enough. Meanwhile, they're 85 and senior center is a great place to come and socialize. And I think that that social stigma applies to the van. And it would be nice to start to introduce a friendly van ride with this very friendly van driver. And just to get people who might be in this room now, who might be losing their license at some point, and then they're gonna just stay at home because they're not gonna go to that van. But I think to introduce the van and the van driver as a friendly thing, and it's not a social stigma, would be nice to do that, because I don't think we have so far.
And I think the other thing that pushes in here is if you had somebody that was very, very apprehensive about it, the electric car we use to transport, and that would be a lot less intimidating to some people. To start out with the electric car and then be able to have it happen 3 or 4 or 5 times and then be able to say, car's not available today, would you mind hopping on the van? And I think you'd find that probably wouldn't bother them that much at all,
All right, thank you, those are great ideas.
So anyway,
I'd love to talk more about that.
and I know I still owe you a bench or two, so we're working on that.
All right, great, thank you.
So,
Does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring up today? Or Howard, Taffy, how about the
No,
senior?
we're hanging in down there.
They're hanging in?
It's a big project starting up in July.
Yeah,
The roof
good.
on the community building, and then
Have we
gonna
gotten any
replace the
new?
decks and doors, and I don't believe that we have taken a new tenant this month in, but we did hire a contractor to come in and work just on rehabbing the apartments.
Good.
That's one of our biggest, probably our biggest stumbling block. Well, Jamf is big too, but the fact that we don't have a full-time maintenance person. We have 2 part-timers and,
yeah.
and they're just plugging the leaks, really, and then I don't have time or ability really to rehab the apartments. So now we hired someone to come in and do that. We've got the money to do that.
Good. Yeah.
Do you still have the vacant apartments, the 6 vacants?
Yes, we still have.
What the hell's happening with the state?
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. We have 5 apartments that are been totally remodeled. And there's a problem with some of the work that was done, basically. I mean, some punch list issues, and the architect who's from the state is the one who has to remedy those and sign off them, and he's like been unheard of for 2 months.
What about, I mean,
So
you
there
had a
might be-
meeting a couple of months ago,
Yeah.
or maybe it was last month, trying to get the vacancies filled, since the state
Yeah.
is in control.
Yeah.
And nothing's happened there?
No, that's gonna be a long process. Changing that process, has gotta be legislated.
But I mean, I don't know about changing it, but why not? Aren't they supposed to come up with a list of people that qualify, and then you pick whoever you want or something?
Yeah, well.
I mean, I mean,
Now, that's the
vacant
issue.
apartments is crazy.
Yes, it is. I absolutely agree with you. It's crazy for the people that need to be housed, and it's crazy that we're not getting any rent. But the state comes up with a list, I mean, the list of like 5,000 people.
Well, let's get 6 of them.
But then you have to invite them all to participate, starting with number 1,
Yeah.
you know. And that's the problem, and I don't want to go into it, but, you know, we'll send out 100 invitations to apply, and we might hear back from 2 people, who, neither of whom might be qualified. And, you know, they can be from anywhere in the country. So, and that's the process, and you have to keep going down it. So that's what we're fighting. That meeting was to try to get that changed. And as a result, DHCD has said to us, well, we'll try to help. We're thinking about trying to go through that list ourselves, and we can tell you, you know, here's 150 people that might be interested in coming to Cohasset. But when that will happen, I don't know. And that would be a good thing. But it's really tough. I mean, we are losing ground. I mean, we had 2 people die. You know, I mean, we can't help that. If people die, and,
Yeah, right.
you know, more apartments get vacant.
Wow. That's a problem.
It is, yeah, it is. Because the need is there for sure. It's very frustrating.
Anything else from anybody? Yep. Okay, Nancy, you're on.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to, Megan, we'll just grab you while you're here. Thank you for coming so promptly. I said, I can't remember if I told her 9:15 or 9:30, but she'll be here. So in case you guys don't know, this is Megan James. She's the library director. She also happens to be the community support leader. So she is now also in charge of the recreation, elder affairs, safe harbor, and library. So that's the grouping from the town as the community support, and she is the go-to girl for us for that. So we love having her. She's a great supporter of the elder affairs, the seniors. And she's also, as if that wasn't enough for her, she's the website, she's on the website committee. So she has a lot of information, and she is young enough that she gets it all.
That's a compliment.
That is a compliment.
Fair enough. With this computer business, yeah, nothing against you at all, it's all good, since I do not have that kind of knack. So she's here to share all the information, it's all good, and I know that everybody's very interested in learning about where we're at with the new upgrade to the website, and take it away, Megan.
Great.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you
that's-
for
give it a
having
push.
me. So I brought paper copies, and then I could also probably do something with the computer as well. Sorry, they got a little wrinkled on my walk down. So this is the final draft of, I'm going to start with the end, and then I'm going to go backwards to how it all began. But I thought I'd show you the good stuff first. So I'm going to pass this out, and then for our computer folks, let me.
Say if you could screen share, can you do something on that so they can see.
Oh, can you do that?
No, because it's not part of the computer that I have here,
Right.
so I can't screen share it, but I can show you guys.
That's where it looks like.
I can pull it up on this computer and then maybe attach
If
that
you
way.
can send me the attachment, yes, then I can do a screen share.
I didn't know what to do.
I know,
Yeah.
thank God. That's
Yep.
true.
The rest of us are like, what?
So I'll start talking while we pull up our technology here. So about 2 years ago, the select board came up with a new goal of communication, which was fairly broad but needed. And one of the main sub goals underneath communication was to redo all of our web pages. So library, senior center, and town hall. We were up for a redesign with the town hall's website. So that was all good timing to get this moving forward. So we started talking about our first meeting. We really started talking about other websites, really around the United States, municipal websites that we liked, and started talking about looking at the statistics through our current website to see what the most popular topics are when people come in. What do they click on? That type of thing, so that we could start thinking about not only giving our website a facelift, but also, reorganizing some of the information that we have so that when people come in, they don't have to click 7 times to get to where they need to go, which is what we have right now. So the process of reorganizing information and, updating the look of the website has gone on for a while. We had some staff changes and some people leave and some new people come on. So once the town website is done, which it almost is, and I'm going to show you on the computer final
on
draft. I don't know. Okay, I think so.
Oh, okay, good. Sometimes it's a problem.
So far, so good. Mm-mm. So once we get the final draft for the town hall, which is what we're almost done with, we just probably last week, right, Nancy, started doing what we're calling the ultimate parent pages, which are the library and the Wilcott Commons page or elder services. So essentially the layout is going to be similar, although we can make modifications. We can have our own brand colors. So our colors are not the same as town hall, the library. We have more like brights, purples and yellows and things like that. So that will be reflected on our page. Wilcott Commons will also have their own brand colors that they chose. The pictures on our individual pages will be the pictures that we choose. And we've talked about possibly having somebody come professionally to take pictures of our facilities, along with just some fun pictures that we might have taken through the years. And we both will have our own URLs, which is really important, and I know is really important to Elder Affairs as well, to have their own identity when it.
Murphy will be so happy.
Yeah. He's gonna smile on his face.
I can't get on the internet, Nancy. Do you know the? No, thank you. Thanks, Richie.
I have a quick question. We'll go
Sure,
with it.
yes.
In all of this, do we have, is there a process or is there an ability to, say, annually update these sites? Because I told Rich, I have some people that have to reapply this year, and it took me a half an hour the other night to just find the one piece of paper that they needed.
Mhm.
But I did notice that all the way through, like the nurse, everybody's outdated. It was a date of, say it was a date of 2020, or 2018. Nothing was,
Are you talking about forms? What are you referring to?
no, just say.
Content?
Like the boards and.
Yeah, the boards and, yeah,
So all of that can be refreshed daily, hourly, by the minute.
Okay.
So I know Richie has gone to a training. I have been to a few trainings. I manage the website now for the town hall. So I am in your corner and I am here to help. So so I will be able to assist Richie if he has any questions as he makes changes. But yes, we can change anything at any time. We can change the pictures, we can change location of content, we can change the content in general.
But is there a process where there'll be a review? So every April, Richie would just review everything and make sure everything's up to date, that type of thing.
Well, so what it will be is a constant thing we're hoping that's going to be like a daily or weekly thing
Okay,
that we are
it would just,
adding content on
Okay.
all the time. We're
Okay.
doing it now. For example, with the calendar function specifically, to use it as an example, we have our content on there for programs and activities on the calendar. So when you go to the town of Cohasset website, and then you look on for the calendar, what different things, there are the different departments that have their things on there. So if you're looking to find out what's going on for Elder Affairs, you can click on the calendar and the feature there will be for Elder Affairs and will just show you it will show you everything.
Yeah.
If you want to see everything that's going on here in the town and whatever people have submitted to the calendar and put on there. But if you wanted to, like, say, the functionality by just looking at Elder Affairs, you can click on that and it will just show you everything on the calendar that's coming up for Elder Affairs or for Paul Pratt Library, whatever. So I think the idea is that we will have a structure of what the web page will look like
okay,
and where everything will be laid out. Content will be added to that all the time. So
like I have to ask these people to re-up. And it goes under Cohasset Committee Form Center, okay? It took me, and I'm not dumb about the computers, it took me forever to find this thing. And I finally found it. But now Rich is one of the gentlemen, he said, can I just go to town hall and get it? Yes, you can, but it is available here if you can find it. So in the new process, we would have our own, and like that form center or that particular form that we need to update, would that be on our?
yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Forms are different things to sign up for. I mean, like if you needed different information for,
Right.
I'll
right,
let
Elder Affairs.
Nancy,
So the
right,
form you're looking at would be completely on a different area.
correct.
Under forms or something. If we have a form that we want you to have, we'll have an updated form under the senior center
Okay,
website. If you're looking at the town hall form or necessary something to fill out, that should be updated regularly, and that's something that with the new website, I think it's going to be easier to do.
Yes, much easier, less clicks to get to where you need to go. And then, I think what's really going to change the game for all of this, the town hall and the library and Elder Affairs, is that we're all going to have control of our spaces, our departments. Whereas right now it goes through one person, the entire town goes through one person. So, there's not a lot of, scanning to make sure that content is correct. Because whoever's managing the website also has, a department to manage or something like that. I'm just doing the website temporarily right now to help out. There's been, kind of a revolving person who's done it, which is another problem. There hasn't been any consistency to who's in charge of the website. So we've hired Justin, who is
Communications specialist.
thank you. He's wonderful, and he's getting ahead of kind of some of the ongoing town communication problems that we're having, because there are a lot of them, and he's been fantastic so far. He just started about a month ago, so if you haven't noticed an impact, stay tuned. So he's going to be in charge of the website, but also, Elder Affairs is going to be in charge of the Elder Affairs page, and the library is going to be in charge of the library page, and planning is going to be in charge of the planning page, and that's going to be really important, because then we are all going to be scanning to make sure that our content is correct, and knowing that we're responsible for making sure that it is correct, because previously it's been somebody else's responsibility and it's fallen through the cracks. So we're working on that, and we understand absolutely that we have some issues, but we are working them out. And I don't know if it's the attachments, Richie. Okay.
Just waiting for it to download.
So can I answer any questions? Any other
When is this going to take place?
So we're hoping September. So what happens is, process-wise, the town page has to be done first.
Okay.
Because we're subsets, if you will, even though we have our own URL. So town's just about done. We're pretty motivated at this point to get this project done. We've been working on it for a long time, as you know. And so September or fall is what we're hoping to be done with this. And
then as far as elder affairs affecting the content, now, is that you or is that Rich or how's this gonna work?
Right, well, basically it would be, Richie will do any edits that we need, but it will basically be my last say-so on what goes on there and how we do it. But I see it as a big team approach, so if Richie's in there and he notices something, or if Diane has got a program that she needs on there and we wanna highlight that, those are all things that we can do by sending it to Richie. Richie's going to be the point of contact for the senior center website. So everything we need him to do, we'll send it to him, or he'll be in there looking at something else and he'll know, like, every month he's got to update the Vista calendar on there. Every week he may have to change some of the content. So that's something that internally we're going to figure out how our best processes are, but it will definitely be coming from us based on what we feel the need is to get
Is
up.
that something that we should review at these meetings every month?
I don't think
Content?
if you find, I would love your input. If you find that you want
There's
something specific on there, certainly bring it to the meeting. We'll discuss it and then I'll send it over to Richie. But I just don't want, each of you saying, I want this on it and sending it to Richie. It all should go through me, if you wouldn't mind. And it's probably best during a board meeting, so we all agree why that's something that you don't see there that you want to see or something like that. But it's definitely up for discussion for anything we put on that.
I have a very basic question. So I have this form.
Mhm.
This form is used repeatedly and it's used for this board,
Okay.
but it is town. It basically is the requirement of the town to do this. So can we have a link to it? Like, could it show up in here? And yet,
Right, so we are having one tab that says Board of Directors, and you click on that, it's going to give all you guys a list of everybody, and then on that will also include that
Perfect.
form.
Yeah.
How's that sound? And it's going to say minutes, so people can actually click on it and
and
get the
see the
minutes.
minutes.
Because right now, it's like, where do you find the minutes? Oh, it's.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, good luck.
It's like,
where's
it's,
the agenda?
exactly,
Yes.
so all that will be under the Board of Directors.
Yay.
It's easy, click on it and
Can
find it.
Jim hear us?
No, that's
I can hear you.
Jim
Jim,
Murphy.
are you so happy?
No, that's
What's
Jim.
that?
Carpenter.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Oh, Jim Murphy and
Oh,
Jim
he's-
Carpenter.
yeah.
were-
Yeah,
oh,
both.
Jim Murphy.
Two Jims.
Yeah. Jim, are you happy?
Am-
In
the
other words,
question-
are you pleased with what they're doing? With the.
Yeah, I'm glad to see forward progress.
Yeah.
The fact that we have our own URL, I think it'll be interesting to see whether it will be utilized now that we've got the other side of it coming into being. It's a work in progress. I'll be interested to see it develop.
Good.
Do you want me to switch back to the other picture, or do you want to comment on this one?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about this. So this is a draft of what we might see on the front page of the town hall site. Can you go up a little bit? Is that possible?
I can zoom in. Hold on one second.
The headers are at the top, like that's cut off. Like a really funky, because it's so long, it doesn't really fit in the page. Yay, there we are. So we find that everybody wants to be on the front page, which is fair enough. So we tried to create some spaces where all the departments can have their spaces on the front page. So we decided on two header rows. And so, the bigger picture items will be at the top and maybe some subsets at the bottom. We also find that the buttons mid-page will be very important because people generally come in, we run our statistics, they generally go straight to e-permitting. So that will be front and center where it's really not now. Other things that people look for are the town meeting calendar, agendas, things like that. So that will all be front and center. We're also I don't think this part's gonna be done in September, but we're working on utilizing a module called Notify Me. And so what that does is people can sign up for it to be updated on certain departments. So if you know, you're interested in affordable housing and what's going on with affordable housing, you'll be able to sign up for just the affordable housing emails and you'll get a blast every time they have some type of news. You can sign up for the library, obviously, of course, Elder Affairs. So you can pick and choose. You could sign up for all the departments and get all the town news all the time, which might be a little bit much, but you would be certainly informed. Or you can pick subsetted department.
Along those lines now, for Elder Affairs, are you saying that every time the content is modified, we'll get an email?
So if it's something, so not like if somebody changed the word and or something like that, but if they come out with like a new program and they put it on the front page, if you sign up for Elder Affairs can choose to blast that out to their subscribers.
I think that's terrific.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic and something again that we very badly need because as we saw at our last town meeting, there was things that were on the ballot or on the warrant that people weren't aware of. And so we need to do a better job of, it might be on the website, but people have to look for that. We have to get it front and center. And that's the same with all of our community service departments is, if I can post on my website all I want that we're having this certain program, but if people aren't going to my website, then they're not gonna know that we're having it. They
Yeah, a
don't
push
know-
technology as opposed to a pull.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
So I am not gonna guarantee that that's out in September because there's a lot of training that needs to do with the staff to make sure that we're pushing out things that are relevant and that we know how to do it and that we're not, pushing out things to Elder Affairs that we meant to push out to permitting or something like that. So there's some training involved with that and that's gonna take a little bit of time, but that's an end goal is right now to get that project moving, we're all taking our contact lists and putting them together and, just doing a little bit of experimenting just within a few departments just to see what's gonna work. So that'll be great too. So the picture slideshow, that can be all customized. It can also have a link to it as well. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a static picture. You can link it to another web page or another part of the Elder Affairs web page, what you would like to do with it. But
Now, on the pictures,
yes.
are you planning something that would rotate all the pictures or would just be, you got to go to a page and you got to pick a picture or something like that?
So we could do either. So we could set them to rotate. Is that what you're? Yeah. Or we could set them to just have one that's static. That's just there. Whatever.
Is that in our control?
Yes, all of that is. So Elder Affairs is going to have full control of their website. So anything
Ready
that
for
you
this?
want.
Already gone, we already started, believe me.
That's right. So anything that you want, whether you want to change the name of a link or you want to change out, what your buttons are going to look like, anything you want really can be changed. So at
You
any
said you're
time.
only doing this temporarily, right?
She's only in charge of the website,
Oh.
town hall website right now temporarily because Justin will be taking
Oh,
over.
okay.
He's the communications specialist. So anything you see here is what the town hall, that's they've already spoken with Civic Plus and decided on. We have sent our information. We have already told them we want the tabs up the top. We want pictures that are going to rotate. We've sent them pictures. Then on the side, we're going to have more tabs of programs, services, transportation, Vista newsletter. So all that we've already given them. And so once they put it together in a prototype like this, they'll send it to us and I'll bring it to you guys so that you can see, like, this is the town hall one. Once they put ours together, you guys will get a better idea of what exactly we're thinking of. And if you want us to make edits or adjustments before it goes live, we'll be happy to
Right.
consider.
It's like parked right now. Our page is parked right now. It's not active. So, but they've already allocated the space for us.
Okay.
So we've already had a staff meeting to talk about what we want the design of the page to look like. They're going to build it, like the bones of it.
Yeah.
And then once that's done, they'll say, okay, here's what it looks like with your color palette you decided, where everything you want. How does that formatting look? And then Nancy will then present it to you guys. What do you think? And then when we're ready to go live, we say, turn it on. Once we turn it on, then we can start adding and changing content in there and this, that, and everything else. Slideshow where it has the minute light here or whatever we'll have on our page, where it's a slideshow of different pictures and stuff. That will happen.
And also, you'll launch it in September, then, observe. So maybe, January, you think, well, I don't like where the Vista newsletter
Yeah.
button is anymore. We can change it.
Yeah.
So, it's always going to be a work in progress. There's never a final draft of a website, or there shouldn't be. So, try something for a while. If it doesn't work, make some things move. I wouldn't do that too often because it gets to be confusing for folks, but, maybe that's something that you do yearly is just, take a look at, where content is located. If that's, you can run statistics on what gets clicked
I
the
was
most,
going to ask
all
that
that kind
question.
of thing.
Can
Yes.
you run statistics and say, whoops, we got a large body of people
Can.
that can't
You can
find that
data.
easily? Yeah,
You can data mine it. You can data
Yeah.
pull what you want off of the site to say, oh, what pages are getting hits? How many, how often, how many individual unique hits it's getting from
Yeah.
a particular computer or someone somewhere, a user. You can do that. You can pull that data out.
I have one other question. Under Wilcott Commons, will veterans be under Wilcott Commons, or the Social Service League? Are they under Wilcott Commons, or are they part of Cohasset?
Well, Elder Affairs will be the Elder Affairs page. VSO will have the VSO page, I assume, right? So, and
They
then,
have their own, so they don't have their own kind of
So they'll be under the
website.
town.
They'll be
Right.
under the town.
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
And- Yeah, and then Social Service League, I don't think is included.
It's not the town, so
Because it's not
they
a
would have to
town
have, they
Oh,
park.
have
that's
their
right, too,
own
it's private.
website.
That's
yeah.
right, too. Yep.
But it's a good question because we'll have, I think, a button where we talked about outreach services and stuff like that. Certainly, if a person is coming to our site who is a veteran and an elder or a older adult, we can have the functionality there to say like, oh, if you're interested in contacting Phil Mahoney, VSO, click on here and it will take you to his
Okay.
departmental page
Yeah.
or
Beautiful.
whatever.
So Diane, I've got a couple questions. Number one, is Jim Murphy on this call?
No, he's not.
It's not today.
Okay. Number two, I'm a little bit confused as to our separate URL. How is, one of the things that we stamped our feet on was to be able to have our own URL, and I'm questioning what the utility of it is now. Will it basically bring us to this exact page, or?
So
Oh.
we have www.cohassetelderaffairs.com, and when it goes live and somebody puts that in and clicks on it, it's coming right up to our page, not the town hall page. But if somebody goes to www.cohassetma.org, it's going to come up here, and then if you didn't know that we had our own page, you could click on Elder Affairs and it will bring you to our page.
Okay, good.
So on the town page then, will it have all the departments in the town? Okay, so you can obviously
You can choose,
point.
If you didn't know that we had our own page yet,
Right.
you could say, you could find it that way. just
Okay.
like
Up there on the top where it's like
And
government.
along with Richie's comment, that you'd also be able to find the veterans page
Correct.
on the main page.
Yeah, be under
Okay.
government, most likely, where that tab is their government. It'll be like a drop-down menu or it'll be a pop-up window. I think it's pop-up, isn't it? The window pops up.
I drop down right now.
Okay.
But
So whatever the functionality is, it will come up, but then once that you click on that department, it will then go to our unique URL for
Okay,
Cohasset.
good.
I have a further question, Richie and Nancy. What has the experience been with Civic Plus in terms of their bringing this up and running?
I think they've been very attentive. They're, very much getting the meetings in order. They want to focus on the town hall first because that's the parent site before they do us, which is kind of the off sites. But I think that they've been, as far as I know, from the meetings that I've attended, really, really good.
Thank you.
I've gone for a couple trainings already, Jim, and the person that we've had as the instructor for have been very forthcoming with information for us. If we have questions, we can ask them. So the trainings, I think I've done two so far. I think 2 or 3. I think 2. I can't remember off the top of my head. Did one a month or 2 ago, but they've been good because they've been able to kind of show us how everything is set up currently on the system. And you have questions about what to do for the website now, and they've been accepting our feedback in terms of what's going to happen maybe going forward.
Is there, they must have other clients, right? And other towns that have done this. Is there a way we can look at what other towns have done?
Oh, yes, we have.
Yeah.
We have, and they are the dominant vendor out there for town websites and other websites.
But have we looked at, say, Hingham or Weymouth and see what they have?
We have
Again, if there are these
Duxbury,
clients.
Duxbury,
Duxbury's the model.
Lexington, Duxbury, Lexington. Yes, we have.
All right, can I get a URL from one of those towns so I could look at it?
Yeah, we'll send it. I sent it out, I think to Jim, and Jim, when they were working on this, I'll send you the same
Okay,
email that has
thank you.
those other ones. Good.
Do we have any other questions? So, I'm gonna be phasing off the town website committee, or town website duty and committee, but I'm here to help. So if Nancy or Richie, anybody needs help, with editing or, some bumps at first or what have you, I'm here and I'm available. So, I have the website, took a little while for me to figure out, and now I feel like I'm the master editor of the website. So, so if I can help, let me know.
What is Justin's last name?
She starts with an S.
Excuse me, Schreier. Schrair. He was supposed to attend today, and thanks to Megan for attending in his place, but he was unavailable, but.
Is he the young man that's been interviewing people? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's neat. Yeah,
Yeah, he's wonderful.
nice young man.
Who is he again?
He has the title of communications specialist for the town.
Okay. A new hire?
Yes, in the past couple of months, I'd say.
Yes.
Yeah, that's new.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Megan.
Terrific.
Really reach out if I can help.
Yep.
This is great.
Good. I'm so glad. Awesome.
We've waited a long time, so this is really nice, yeah.
Good. I'm glad. All right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, you're
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
You too.
You as well.
Do we have anything else? Nancy, do you want to give any other?
Yes, I
updates?
will give my update if you'd like to
Yep,
hear it.
please.
Okay. And before I forget, and Paul is here, he can hear us, but he can't speak. So I've been getting a couple of messages. First off, he did want me to mention about town manager at Cafe this morning, although Christina did tell me he is unavailable this morning, and he's sending Michelle Leary, who's a procurement officer. So Michelle Leary will be in the cafe if you guys all want to stop in there after. All right, here you go. Send that down, thank you. He said it's a pain, isn't it? All right, so. Sorry, guys, I didn't send anything, but you'll, do you have it? Could you put it up?
Might be able to screenshot it. Hold on one second. Give me a second.
Okay. we're just going to put the report up so you guys, Jim and Paul will be able to go follow along with us. And I'll wait one more minute. Dinah will be right back and then we'll start.
I missed the first end of the meeting. I'm sorry. Tana is not in today.
Donna is not, right, she is unavailable today, but she'll be back next month.
Okay.
Sure. All right, well, I'll get started in the essence of time here. So I just wanted everyone to know, so we all know that the ARPA funds that we got, it's federal funds administered through South Shore Elder Services. And so what we did is purchase 64 Stop and Shop gift cards at $25 a piece, and we will be giving them to residents. I purchased 64, even though there's less residents there, but that's in case we need to give anyone a second one. So anybody at 60 Elm Street will receive a $25 gift card.
So you plan to just give them to all residents?
Food insecurity
And the grant was 10 grand, right?
over 4 years. Yeah.
4 years, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We also created, thanks to Eleanor, she was so helpful with letting us do this for the farmers market. We created $25 vouchers. Those we will be giving through outreach department at the discretion of the social worker and the outreach worker as to who needs some extra food vouchers for specifically Cohasset Farmers Market. South Shore Elder Services also provides farmers market coupons, which can be used across the state. And it's for anybody age 60 and older under income guidelines, but we're focusing more on our farmers market vouchers for people who are struggling not only financially, but if they are unable to get to the store, or they recently came out of the hospital, or they they just haven't had any healthy veggies because of the cost of them, those kind of things. So those are who we'll be giving those specific
Have you
vouchers.
had any requests for rides to the market, to the farmer's market?
So far, we have not.
Is that something we should?
It just
provide?
started, but we can certainly, well, and we certainly provide transportation. We did do it in the past. We've
Okay.
offered it and people have taken us up on it.
Okay.
So
Good.
it's a great thing to be able to do. I did put this, I wrote all this down. This is now long gone for everybody, where the increase in COVID cases, which thankfully they're coming back down. But because of that, we did have to reschedule the Mother's Day lunch, which was the lobster roll lunch that everyone was so excited about. And so that will be in August, on the 11th of August. Hopefully it's going to be a beautiful day and we can have more of an outdoor.
On that, I heard some information. I haven't seen anything, but something that says that the lobster rolls are no longer lobster rolls. They're going to be some fake food.
That is untrue. I don't know where that came
It's
from.
going to be lobster.
Oh,
They may mix it with some crab. That's what, that was what Dan had suggested. But lobster will be in there, and it's not the fake. I don't think it's the
not
fake.
fake lobster. He's getting it fresh, I think, right from the source.
Yeah.
Dan is
So
very specific about
what's the
that.
crab thing have to do with it?
Yeah, he was going to mix it with crab at one point. That was his thought, to make it further, and we said, no, please. If we're saying lobster rolls, they have to be lobster rolls.
Good. That was my point.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you sold me a lobster roll and you're going to give me some
Right,
fake food.
exactly, yeah, we don't need that imitation crab meat.
That's right. Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
No imitation fillers at our yeah.
Good.
They will be delicious. Okay, I just wanted to let everybody know too about the dishwasher. It's been kind of a pain because the dishwasher keeps running, and because of the model, that dishwasher model, we have to turn it on in the morning. And Richie, thankfully, Richie is willing to do it, climbs up on a step ladder and sticks his hand back there. I did it once when Richie was out, and I thought for sure I was gonna fall up that step ladder and break a hip. So it's not very convenient, but Richie does do it. He turns it on in the morning so we can use it, and then at the end of the day, he shuts it off back behind there, because if it runs and runs, it's going to, there's a leak. So facilities has been working on that, but they do have to get a specific vendor to do it, and it has proved to be a little bit more
It
difficult.
has to come directly from Hobart, unfortunately, because the other contractors or other vendors do not work on the Hobart machines. So it actually has to come from Hobart. They have to send one of their technicians out to do it, and they're taking their sweet time getting them here.
Can you tell them we've got some money now as opposed to waiting till July?
Right now, do it.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's even gonna do it.
But it pays to be a plumber's son because I know the valve to turn on and turn off.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Thanks for that. So I am, where did I?
The
I
ice
thought I
machine.
did add it.
Ice.
Ice machine, thank you. I was like, I saw it and I didn't find it. In case you haven't noticed, we do have ice again. That took a while, and I don't know why it was needed to be repaired shortly after we just got it back again. But it had to be cleaned or something, and we needed again a special person to do it. The facilities crew couldn't. So that's up and running, and it's wonderful to have nice ice cubes when we need them. And Paul, I hope you're hearing me, because so I'm working on the grant through Massachusetts Department of Transportation, which I brought up last year. June 24th is the date that I have to have it in by. I think we're coming along really well on that. I'm pretty much done. I've got all the work done, and I just found somebody who lives in town who is a grant writer, who's willing to review it for me, so I don't miss anything, or everything I put in there she thinks is going to be important for the grant. So as soon as she gives me the go-ahead, then I just have to put it into the computer, because everything has to go into the computer and downloaded, and that might require a little bit more work on my end, because I get afraid of missing attachments and everything. So I think we're in good shape. I think it's looking good, and we'll just keep our fingers crossed that.
Well, for a grant writer, I thought of this last month. Shouldn't we have somebody that does that automatically? I mean, don't we have a lot of grants that we have to apply for?
Yeah, I know that it's come up from the town that's what they should do, because they write a lot. There's so many grants being written, and each department is really responsible for their own grant, unfortunately. So hopefully that's something they're going to do, but right now
This new communications guy, is he somebody that could do this, or?
as far as I know, he is not a grant writer. So
He's primarily just doing like the social media and that type of stuff, and
IT.
yeah, well, tied in with IT obviously, but he's not grant writing. No.
But you apply, or not you, but Elder Affairs applies for many grants over time, right? So who does that grant writing? Is that just you guys?
we do it primarily. It's me. We do whatever grant comes up that we need. Thankfully, the formula grant is really just a fill out, very basic at the end of the year. You don't have to do much for that except get Chrissy
Well,
to sign off on it.
My experience with grants is it's a competitive
Right,
process. So not everybody that applies get the grant.
correct.
So you've got to somehow have the visibility and the impact that you're awarded the grant. And I would think that would be something that we'd want to have on staff here, whether it's the town that does that, or whether it's Elder Affairs in particular. Because I imagine there's a lot of money out there that we could get our hands on.
Absolutely.
If we knew how to
think
get it.
If the town hired somebody even part-time to be just the grant writer, and every department could go to that person and say, this is what we want, work with me, I think that would save the town huge amounts of money.
Has anybody requested that, or?
Oh, sure, it's been brought up, and I
Oh,
know
okay.
that it's been talked about, so that's why I'm saying, hopefully it's something they'll do. Right now, I don't know where that stands, but I know that it's something that's
Well, this person that you found is doing it as a volunteer for you, right?
only because it's because Stephanie Saunders, it's her neighbor, and she
Yeah.
knew I was, she's like, oh, I know a person, let me just have her get you two in touch. So I did speak with her, and she said she would take a look at it for me. So I don't know how often I can go to this person, hopefully we have a good relationship and we'll be able to ask her in the future. But this is really the biggest one I can say that I've gone for sure. And that's why I'm glad that we have somebody like that. But for some of the other ones, you know, sometimes I try for an AARP Community Challenge grant to do the pathway down here. I did not get that one. Then we do other ones through like MARTAP, which is smaller grants to try to get when we I got money to rehab the vans when we first got the new vans. So the smaller grants I think I do pretty well at. It's just these bigger ones that have so much at stake that we need to have, you know, somebody who really is proficient with
This
it.
Michelle, can't think of her last name.
Larry.
Larry, right, second, that's, yeah, the social this morning, is the procurement officer for the town, apparently. She's doing a grant for us right now, the housing authority, through the alternative energy. So I think she probably writes a lot of grants too.
Yeah, I have spoken with her. She has not offered to write our grant.
Well,
So.
I said, I can't do it this week, and it has to be done by June 22nd, and she said, I'll do it. So,
And that's very nice, yeah. So I don't, that's not particularly her job. That's
Yeah,
her-
okay.
out of probably the, wanting to help out,
Trying
but
to get
that's,
some
yeah,
solar
she
energy
can't possibly do
grants.
everybody in town's grant. She'd be doing that all day, so.
Well, I mean, we've got this extra money. I'm saying extra money. I'm against giving anything back. Is there a way we could fund something like this? Like, say, $5,000 for being able to use a person periodically?
For next year, maybe.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading Paul's. I'll read that in a minute, Paul. That's something that if we needed, I think it would be worth it if we were going to write that many grants. But for right now, we don't.
But are we not writing grants because we don't have the capability? And does this now, I mean, I'm looking for another avenue of funding, that's all.
Right.
And if this is something that's available and we can't take advantage of it because we don't have the expertise, maybe we should buy the expertise.
It all depends on how many grants I think that we could use here and what would work for our department. So it's something to think about for sure.
Yeah, I think my granddaughter is a grant writer. That's what she does. She works for Harvard Medical School. But they have huge amounts of grants.
Yeah.
There aren't that many grant writers, so it's.
That's what I mean. I mean, are we missing? Are we missing out?
I think
We need air conditioning for the bocce court.
For the winter. Yes.
You need a working pool.
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But I've talked to her recently, actually, because she just got a very nice promotion to being the team leader. So she's leading a team of people that grant write for Harvard. As she said, there aren't that many grant writers, but the important part is that you have to kind of assess your facility or who you are to see how far you want to go. Because just a grant write, like you were saying, there's a small level, a low level, and then there's the person that goes out and finds the grants.
Yeah.
And then does it. So, yeah, I was surprised. It's a lot more complicated than I thought it was and a lot of work.
Well, like I say, a lot of these grants are competitive.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
You
very.
gotta know the right buzzwords.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, very.
And you have to know they exist, that they're available.
Well, that's
Well,
what
that's
you
true.
gotta
That's
find
the
them.
big
Yeah.
piece, yeah.
Well, that's the other towns, right? Other bigger towns that participate, and they may be able to get us involved in something like that. I mean, I don't know how involved it'd be because it is competitive, so
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
wanna,
Yeah.
but
Paul has a.
Paul is asking whether or not we had to pick a specific van for the grant. And I did indicate that an eight passenger van. It's similar to what we have. They only gave us 4 different options, I believe, and some were really big, we didn't need them, and some were small. So this was, I think it's a series, I don't know, I'd say it's definitely Series E. I'm not sure what the model number before that was, but I think it will meet our purposes. And I can tell you, Paul, specifically what the name of it is afterwards when I find it, if you want to take a look at which van.
how much money are we talking about?
The van itself is $87,000, and the town has to come up with the 20%.
Is it a hybrid?
Pardon?
Is it a hybrid? Does it?
Well, that's an interesting part because when I was reviewing this with Michelle Leary, and one of the questions is there might be an opportunity to get an electric vehicle for this new grant, for this new van, and they would be approximately $200,000. And I had written in my notes when I'm like going through the thing, and I said, not interested or not available or something. And Michelle said, oh, maybe. She goes, let me look into that. So the town may be interested because it would help us with our green initiative or the green community.
Yeah, I heard that. I just heard last week. The town's getting a new van, electric van, wheelchair van. And I said, oh, really? Yeah, I said, I thought they
From
weren't
her?
even
From
exist.
Michelle?
Now I heard it from Tanya Bodell, who's head of the alternative energy.
All right, so so that was the only conversation I had was with Michelle, who said, hold off on that, don't send it in.
What's the town gonna do with it?
Well, it would either be us or the school.
I believe it must be, it's us, I believe, but nobody's brought it to my attention except when Michelle said, let me look into that because maybe that's something that the town would want to do. And I'm thinking, they didn't want to pay $87,000 for a van, but they're gonna pay 20% of $200,000.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Getting this.
Tanya, I think, is very enthusiastic about selling alternative energy.
Yes.
Yeah. And this may be what we're looking at this and she interpreted that as we're getting this.
and right, and maybe they're having conversations separate from what I need to hear, so I will definitely talk to Michelle again. But that was on my, before I send it in, those are the kind of things I
won't
need.
fight that.
You know, she said, let me look into it, and she hasn't gotten back to me, so I will certainly,
Start moving around.
This way, we.
Start moving around. There we go.
Yeah.
Great talk.
I would definitely confirm with her whether or not we're getting we're going for the electric vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because who else, what other department would use the electric?
School, yeah.
Schools, possibly rec maybe, but I don't know if they would want to do that.
But wasn't the grant for 66,000 or something like that?
The grant, right, because that's the 80%.
Okay.
The grant is for the 80% of the
But what happens on a
$87,000.
$200,000 van?
So we'll have to come up with, the grant has to be for the town has to come up with 20% and we'll do the 80% of 200,000 we're asking for. That would be what
Under
we're
the
asking
grant,
for,
so you
under
need
the
to know
grant.
that.
That's what I need to
ASAP.
Oh,
Um,
so it's a funny-
All right, Paul's saying they're planning to keep the 3 electric vehicles. Yes, Michelle did tell me that as well. The last time I met with her, the town's gonna let us keep our, anything else is new request and a new process. Did I get that right, Paul?
He's nodding his head.
Okay, all right.
This is so funny.
We'll be able to communicate between
Well,
that.
the new request would be the $200,000 van, right?
And I think he's saying if we wanted anything more than the 3 electric vehicles that the town currently has and is going to keep, we need to have a new
Okay.
process. So the wheelchair accessible vehicle that we're asking for from the state for that, right now, I'm asking for an 8-passenger wheelchair accessible van, which is a gas-powered one, for $87,000. If the town is telling me, no, we're going to go for a electric wheelchair accessible van, which sounds like they're talking about, then I just check off a different box, which means I need a letter from the town to go with the grant that says we will come up with 20% of $200,000. Because that has to go with the grant. So it doesn't matter to me which box I check off as long as the town is going to commit to the 20%.
Of course, the town meeting voted for the other one.
Right.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they know something I don't know. Hopefully they do. Okay. Paul wants us to stick to the plan. Okay. We'll stick to our original plan, but if they want us to buy that, so do I say no? We don't want a electric wheelchair van? Let's see what he says.
Oh, well, so I'm meeting.
The grant you are applying for does not have the 200,000 van. That's a total different agency. Well, in the grant, it says specifically, if you are applying for an electric vehicle, it is approximately $200,000 and reach out to us and we'll let you to do that. So that's to be continued. Okay.
Right.
Oh, yeah, so I need approval from the board, because I do want to take out, we need to purchase a new owl. The owl before, which is similar to what we have here, so we can, work on, hybrid, people in person, and we have people like with the men's group. And the library and other departments in town are also now sharing in on the owl that we worked on with, we worked together with the library. So to have our own, we don't have to take it, nobody has to take it. We don't have to worry about rushing back and making sure we have it for when we need it. So that's $1,176 that I want to take out of the gift fund to purchase.
Can we buy a couple of them, start using up some funds?
But it's being paid out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are good news.
Could we pay it out of the general fund?
Could we?
Paid it, isn't it? Isn't it like a mandated thing now?
Isn't it mandated?
It's not mandated. We'd have to be all on Zoom. We're doing this because Christina has agreed that we can do this hybrid because it's being recorded. But it is mandated that it's in Zoom, and because we want to be in person, we have to be able to do this. And this is not an owl. This is the town's Poly X50, this big machine. So
It's utilizes a similar technology that the owl does. It's just a different format, different setup. The owl, what's happening is the really it's through the library, is that the library is finding out that the owl is being utilized for more of its programming now. So even though we have it booked ourselves for a couple of our programs, it has to be shuttled back and forth between us and the library. So the idea and the thought was actually germinated by Diane, was like, well, why don't we just get our own and have it here? That way we wouldn't have to, not that we don't like to be good neighbors and share, but rather than have the owl go back and forth, have to book it, because you have to book it through the library. You technically have to go in and book it through the library website in order to secure the owl for your meeting.
Yeah.
So why not utilize the funds that we have on hand, get the owl, we have it here, and we can then control how we use it for elder affairs for our programming. So
And the reimbursement from the library of $588, is that to buy back the original owl? So then we'll have ours and they'll have theirs.
yes, correct.
Should we take a vote?
Yes.
again, the quote was already done through IT, so the quote number that Nancy just quoted you is the exact quote for the owl.
And did we decide the gift fund is the place that it should come from?
Well, that would just came up. Do we have an option to look at a line item?
I don't think that, I don't think that,
What if we put one in the van?
Planning sessions.
It's good.
No, it would have to come from several. Gas and diesel is 2,400 available as of May 31st. That's the largest. And vehicle maintenance, because of the new cars, is up at 1,600 as of May 30th. So I would think between, excuse me, those two accounts, we may be able to, and we would have the funding potential to do that. So it's a net of 588 anyway.
Right.
The 1,500, and then we're gonna get 588 back in. Might be worth a quick phone call to Dawn
to see.
to see if they would consider that.
Okay. All right, so you guys, once you vote though, let's do it contingent on the, right, whether or not.
Yes, yeah, discretion, at your discretion.
Thank you, okay.
Very good. Wow.
Like that.
And we're.
Okay, so should we take a verbal vote?
Make a motion, we vote on the, what is it, 1176?
Yep.
And not necessarily the grant fund, but we make a motion on the money
To purchase it.
Yeah.
to purchase it, 1176.
At
And then you
your
can figure
discretion.
out how to pay
Which
for
one?
it.
Okay, thank you.
Funding
Yeah,
is yours.
that's nice and
So
flexible.
all in favor, say
We
aye.
need a second?
Second?
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
aye,
On the motion?
Yep.
All those in
All those in-
favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? done.
Okay, thank you. All right, awesome. All right, just want to highlight Father's Day cookout is June 16th. If anyone of you could make it, that'd be great. It's always a wonderful opportunity for the police and the seniors and the board to kind of socialize and have a little nice time, very relaxed atmosphere. So we're glad they haven't done that now in at least 3 years. So we're happily having them back. Also, due to popular demand, the manicures and the pedicures have been they just fill up like that. They usually do their appointment and then they send up for the next month. So we're adding a couple of new dates for June and July, and if those fill up, we'll probably continue with 2 times a month. So that's a really good offering. And I just wanted to mention that the bus trips are a big hit. So we haven't had those in a couple of years, so those are back, but Encore Boston Casino, just like that, sold right out. And the Narragansett Lighthouse, and thanks to Diana Carter, she is going to be our contact person and our lead representing the senior center. So yeah, she's going to count heads for us. So thank you to Diane for doing that. And lastly, I just wanted to let you guys know how many folks we have. 335 individuals coming in. They have been in the 334 for numerous things. So, but those are unique individuals. So our numbers are climbing up. We had a big bump in March, and I think April and May, because of the COVID cases and people were sick and people weren't doing this, and it came down, but they're coming back up again. And then as far as transportation, that's moving up, 43 unique riders for 177 transportation rides.
How many electric?
I would have to find out. I don't know. Of those, many of them are medical is always electric.
Okay. Well, I guess if the town has already agreed, we don't even need to worry about that anymore.
I don't think we have to
Okay,
anymore. So according to Michelle, we're going to get it, and I think Paul's spoken with the town as well to make sure that we don't have to worry about losing that.
Mhm. So when you say medical, is that fish?
No, fish is separate. So
Well, that's
medical is what Fred, our driver Fred, drives people to a 15-mile radius of us. And when he can't do it, we have fish to do it.
Yeah.
All right, do you have any other questions?
Oh, on the bus trips. Some things get blasted through emails. Bus trips do not. Should they be blasted? I mean, I know it's a popular event, but then it's always after the fact you find out about it. Think, oh, that
Then
would
you're
have
like,
been
oh,
fun.
that'd be good.
Yeah.
We have been advertising it on Facebook, and I know Diane, because it's also done in concert with a couple of the other towns.
Yeah.
We've been getting the word out there. It won't hurt, obviously, for some of the upcoming trips, because she just added on one for September, I think, in her pipeline. So it certainly won't hurt to get additional information out there. I'll talk to Diane after the meeting about that and see how she wants to pursue it.
Just curious
going forward.
How we decide what gets blasted and what doesn't. I'm sure, I don't know what the Facebook participation level is.
So normally with what we try to do is we try to at least at minimum 1 week in advance for upcoming programming, we try to highlight it on Facebook. Again, it's always on there as an event. Once an event is set, it's put on Facebook, it's put on my senior center. I send notifications to Don Royne to put it on Cohasset 143 TV as a PSA that he can run for us. Then we try to, at least at minimum, 1 week in advance, do another alert just to say, hey, time's coming up, especially if it's something where we need to know an RSVP by, to let people know about it. There are certain circumstances, especially for our big events, where we do try to do a big email blast to people to let them know and remind them to sign up for it. But it's not always a hard and fast rule. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but I think we try to stay on top of it as best we can. If it's a policy that needs to be reviewed, I certainly would be happy to sit down with Nancy and Diane to do that. I try to do it as best I can to make a reminder. And the other thing is the calendar for the town website. So when it gets posted on the town website for the calendar, that anybody who's signed up on Civic Send gets an automatic notification once that's posted on the calendar to remind them, hey, programming is now available for example, the Vladimir Putin talk that's coming up next week had to be rescheduled. So we had the initial broadcast for that. Then we had to remind people it's now been rebroadcast, rescheduled for June. And then we'll have another one coming up again before the end of this week to remind people again, hey, Vladimir Putin coming up next Thursday on the 23rd. Make sure you sign up for your reservation to attend. So yes.
What about the lobster? I'm back on the lobster again. What about a blast on that? Since the dates changed and I haven't
Oh,
heard anything.
absolutely. We'll be
Yes,
calling everybody.
that's-
And you
Yeah.
say it's real lobster. It's no fake
No lobster.
No, okay.
No fillers.
Any mistake, you
That's right.
have to
That's
let them know, yes.
All
Yes.
right, good.
Anything else to be discussed, or can we talk about ending our meeting?
That's all from him.
All right.
Thank
Can I
you,
have a
guys.
motion to adjourn, please?
Can I say that the election for the officers will be next month, I think?
Yes, next month, and I've contacted Rich. And Elaine, you are another person
Okay.
that has to
Is up.
re-up,
Okay.
yes, and Jim is another person. And I'm thinking, I was gonna talk to Jim separately. I was thinking I would have it printed out for him and mail it to him,
Okay.
so he can do it. And I could show you exactly how to get to it, because I found out how to do it. Otherwise, is there anything else?
I would like to mention from the veterans' point of view, we had a very successful poppy drive this year. I think it's because it's been 3 years.
Yep.
We've set an all-time record for
Oh, wonderful.
donations. It was terrific. So we're able to fund scholarships at the high school. But the effort, I mean, Paul was involved, Diana was involved. It was extremely successful and very, very generous from the town. And I was very impressed. Just to mention that we're back on again and everything's rosy.
And
Yeah.
also, to your credit, or whoever you worked with, the new setup that you did was amazing. It
That
helped so
happens to
much.
belong to Paul's friend, my wife.
Okay,
Yeah, she got tired of the fact that we were getting phone calls for non-shows and everything else.
nice to her.
So she changed the format this year and it worked beautifully.
Very, very well, yeah. So, all in favor of adjourning?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
we're all set.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So Elaine, if